Assalamualaikum and good afternoon, guys. Welcome back to Hello MECA. As always, I'm your host, Dzulfadhli Lamin. I'm also one of the consultants here at MECA. We are now in another extension period. The Conditional Movement Control Order that begins on the 4th May is now extended to 9th June. 4 more weeks. With this extension, I hope all of our members and viewers will maintain to be safe and sane wherever you may be, especially those who are already reporting for work. And to my Muslim friends, happy fasting. Hope you guys are safe as well in this period. It will not have any bazaar for us, but nonetheless, I see a lot of you guys have started your own cheffery at home. To our beloved members, you would now have received our circulars regarding the new Conditional Movement Control Order and Program Saringan Prihatin Pekeso. We will try our best to answer the questions posted by you guys in this session. As for the viewers who are non-members and interested to get a hold of our circulars, kindly drop your email address to admin@meca.com.my. See down there, to sign up for a free membership trial for 14 days. By being a member, you will enjoy membership benefits, such as direct consultations with our consultants, including myself, receive new updates and circulars, and many more. So please drop in your email to admin@meca.com.my to sign up. Before I proceed, I would like to give a big shout out to our partner, Elabram HR Solutions. Elabram has 20 years of experience in providing HR solutions. They provide solutions such as executive search, recruitment, and HR outsourcing. They serve multiple industries, namely IT, e-commerce, banking and financial services, telcos, retail, healthcare, FMCG, manufacturing, and many more. Up to date, they have a total of 6 offices across Asian region. Elabram also provides a unique workforce management system, WMS, which provides standout features such as mobile attendance with face recognition, anti-fraud detection, leave and claim applications. All of these features can be used by company and staff via mobile apps, interesting enough, and manage HRIS on cloud. Everything is on the cloud right now, nowadays. They are also providing free trial on WMS until the 31st May. So besides the awesome features I mentioned, WMS is also able to support staffs who are working from home and remotely, especially during this challenging time and post-COVID-19. So I believe many of you are looking for solutions. They are your people to go. Do contact Elabram for more details and sign up for the free trial at elabram.com.my. elabram.com. Now let's just move on to our topic for today. Since the announcement from Prime Minister regarding this extension, we have been actively answering questions regarding the considerations and obligations of employers during this period. Among the pressing questions and issues are different states, different areas have different restrictions, the screening and test of employees, handling disciplinary actions during this period. So we hope to clarify all of these concerns in this session. Joining me today, I have 2 panel speakers. I have a legal industrial lawyer and a consultant from MECA. So let me just invite them in. Firstly, I would like to invite legal associate from Daman Sivalingam and Partners, Miss Ilya Shahira.
Hello. Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam.
Hi everyone.
Can you hear me? Somehow I kind of lagged for a while.
Can you hear?
Okay, clearly. Right. Joining us is a consultant from MECA, Mr. David Ko.
Hi everyone. Hi Zoe.
Hey David. Oh, very handsome today.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you guys for joining me. Now, today our topic of discussion will be on the considerations of the employers during this period, also the obligations imposed to them by the government. So to kick off, let me start by saying that we have seen a lot of news in the TV, in social media regarding states that have decided to resist the CMCO. Now, what's up with that? What's the legal basis for this and how does this affect business owners?
Okay, so I'll start with that. I understand that CMCO, since it was first announced by our Prime Minister on 4th of May, had received mixed reaction from the state governments all over the country, with some embracing it, while others having reservation and more strict regulations. For example, I can give is in Selangor itself, where customers are still not allowed to dine in, despite that our Prime Minister had announced that all restaurants can be open and can accept customer who wants to dine in. So um, as long as they follow the SOPs that are provided, given to them, such as limited numbers of customer at one time, or limited number of people sitting at that one table. So
So
in
that's
this
the
kind of
usual SOPs. Yeah.
yeah, so in this kind of situation, even though the state government had a different regulation, this has caused confusion not only to the business owner. It also caused confusion to us as a customer. Are we allowed to go there? Are we supposed to just buy a takeaway, things like that? But legally speaking, what I can say, from the under the constitution, uh, all state government must comply with what federal law provided. So must not go they must not do anything that goes against what the federal law had ordered. So what I can say is that because of our current unprecedented situation, the federal government is now providing general guideline, whereas the state government here can impose a stricter regulation. Because what I see is that decision made by the state government is actually a soft landing approach
Hmm.
to this CMCO. So I think by tomorrow we might have a different update on the state regulation on this. So as long as it doesn't goes against the federal law, uh, the state's regulation can be implemented.
Yeah, I
So
think the
that's my
state has the obligation to take care of the people themselves. So
yes.
you're also saying that federal is the regulation, state has the power to impose, local authority, municipals. So on that
Yeah.
point, David, how is it like in Penang? Are you
You
already
see,
playing golf?
I wish I can go and play golf, to be honest. I'm a big fan of golf nowadays. But sadly, to be honest, because our chief minister in Penang has decided to come out three phases here during this period. So we have gone through the first phase, and now we are actually at the second phase here. So the second phase here, which is similar like Selangor, for for food, unfortunately, you are not allowed to dine in. So you are allowed to only take away or deliveries, you see.
Okay.
Sports is strictly prohibited. So until the third stage, which is beginning on the 13th onwards, you see. I actually do agree on Ilya's point that a lot of people, uh, including the business owners, are confused on this. Just like downstairs, I order food. I went and packed my stuff, my food, right? For the first day when it was announced on the 8th of May, you know what happened? I was like sitting there dining in nicely, no problem. And then at night, when I went back there and to eat again, then they say, sorry, we actually misread that. We didn't know that, hey, look, I cannot dine in. So I was like, oh no, I really wish I can go out and get more fresh air, you see. So yeah,
Which true.
I do agree it makes a lot of confusion, but you still have to go with the state government because they are providing a soft landing, and of course they are focusing on the safety of the public as well. You see.
I see. So on the perception of business owners in Penang, for instance, are they allowed to go to work or start operate at least?
Yes, all of them, when it's on the first phase, only those who are approved by MITI on MCO 1, 2, and 3, they can operate. Now we are at the second phase where majority of the sectors are allowed to operate. Of course, you have other sectors like, for example, entertainment, whatever that is listed out under the prohibited activities, you're not allowed to operate.
Oh, so like in one of my sessions earlier, one of the panelists has mentioned that there are prohibited activities. So are those activities still prohibited in this period? The same
Yes.
activities? Oh, so no change.
Definitely. No change. So let me give you an example. Like, for example, retails like H&M, Uniqlo, and all that, you are allowed to operate. But one of the activities that's prohibited here is that you are not allowed to try on clothes or fitting clothes. So
I
too
see.
bad. You can go and buy, but you cannot try on. Yeah.
So like in the previous ones, we have different SOPs for different sectors. I believe those are still those still applies in this extension.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, definitely.
How about the announcement where the Prime Minister mentioned about crossing borders? Is it still applicable? Can for instance, my employee wants to travel from Negeri Sembilan to KL to come to work. Are they allowed to
Okay.
do that? Ilya,
Okay. For cross border, I would say okay. Last week the government had provide a time period for cross border. This is where this is for those who are stuck at different state so that they can come back to their home or place to work. But now, as what I know is that cross border is now ended on last Sunday. But however, for working purpose, is allowed. But you must ensure that your employee made an application through the Gerak Malaysia application or go to the nearest police station to get to do a manual application and get the approval to go for the traveling across the state.
And
However,
this
just to inform you that for Klang Valley, those who are working in Klang Valley or living near, I mean like in KL, for example, I'm living in Ampang. Okay, my workplace in PJ. So whether it crossed the border, I mean like whether does it consider does it consider as crossing the border, or do I need to have approval, or do I need to make a daily application through the app. So as what we are informed by today, it's not considered as interstate travel. It's more to rentas this daerah. So you are allowed to do that. The rentas daerah. So you are allowed to do that. So I mean, so it means that for employees who are living in Selangor, working in KL or vice versa, you don't need to do application through the Gerak Malaysia app.
and this is strictly for KL, Selangor, KL.
Yes, Klang Valley. Yep.
So for the rest, do they still need, the employer's letter, MITI approval? Is it still applicable now?
For the employer letter, you mean crossing the border?
Yeah.
Okay, it's best to have employer's letter. But maybe David can highlight on MITI approval.
Yeah, sure. So you see, recently as a member, right, as a member of MECA, we have actually sent out a circular on what is the MITI that you need to do here in terms of the declaration. You see, so at the very beginning, you are supposed to go and submit your declaration to notification.miti.my to declare to the MITI that, hey, look, we are operating now. You see.
Yeah.
So this declaration form, you receive a letter, and the letter actually, one of the conditions here says that you need to provide a letter for employees to travel to and fro work. So of course, it's the application wise or the declaration, it's on a voluntary basis, but I would suggest you to actually go ahead and declare it. Number one. Number two, it is also best for you to prepare the letter in case there's any roadblocks and all that. Like in my area, I have employees, or even my clients' employees are traveling from Kedah to Penang every day for work.
Yeah.
So you have to pass through tolls and all that. And in between tolls and all that, you will have police. There are roadblocks and all that. So of course, it is best for employers to actually provide a letter of confirmation that this is your employee, they are allowed to work, and so on and so forth.
All right. So I can say that for the viewers out there, it's best to be safe. Extra effort will go a long way. So, all right. Well noted. Ilya, what about us? Nak balik raya macam mana? Are we allowed?
Okay, like what our Prime Minister had announced, crossing borders for Hari Raya is not allowed. So you can only go Hari Raya within your state. So if you have family members within the state, you can go, but be cautious
I see.
and follows the SOPs provided.
Yeah, I think like you mentioned, there's no difference between the 4th May order SOPs and this period SOPs. I believe the objective is still the same, which is to keep everyone safe. Is there any extra information regarding that? I've heard one of your circulars, David, was on Okeso's Prihatin.
Yep.
What is that all about? How is that? Why is
Okay.
that now? Yeah.
So what happened here is that if you're actually following up the SOXO website and all that, what have they announced is that now SOXO has actually providing this free COVID-19 test, right? So what happened here is that recently SOXO has actually announced that it's a compulsory for foreign workers to actually do the test, right? Regardless whether are you going to use the SOXO one, which is FOC, or you are planning to go with private. So regardless of what. And of course, now the emphasis here is more towards foreign workers in construction. That is compulsory. And also the priority will be given to those who are in red zone.
Red zone.
Yes,
Yeah.
correct.
So when you mention foreign workers, does that include expats as well?
I
Yes, I
believe
would
it
say.
does. Yeah.
Is there? So there's no
Yes.
distinction between foreigners and expats. So what about?
In my
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah.
In my opinion, let me chip in here. In my opinion, I don't think so, because what happened here is that at the very beginning, when the SOXO introduced this PSPP, this SOXO COVID-19 testing, it has announced that it applies to those who are contributing, or the companies are contributing SOXO for those foreign workers. So expats are also contributing, you see. Companies are actually contributing on behalf of expatriates as well as foreign workers, those at the blue collars, you see. So as such, I will say that it applies here for to expatriates as well.
So the bottom line is, as long as there's a contribution on behalf of them, they
Yes.
are okay for the case of FOC. So
Correct.
in terms of that, I've also I've got a question regarding the places for these employees to go for the screening. There's also a mobile method. Can you explain or clarify on that?
Yeah, sure. So what happened here is that SOXO has actually come up with a list of service provider, so that you need to go and make appointment to go for this screening and all that. So, but alternatively, what you can do also is that you can actually call up SOXO, those service provider, to actually invite them to come to your company premises to do the screening as well.
Is it for free?
Yeah, I believe so. It will be free because it's fully covered under the SOXO, is it?
I think that's more convenient, right?
Yes,
All right.
definitely.
So if let's say my company has started operating in this period, my employees are asked to come to work. I ask them to go for screening, blah 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 blah. What if one employee refuses to come? Can they do that? Ilya, what's the legal obligation or what's the legal implication for employees who refuse to come to work?
So basically, I mean, if they refuse to come to work, you can take as an employee, as an employer, you can take action, disciplinary actions against your employee who refuse to come to work. So maybe under absenteeism with absent without leave or insubordination, because the company had given instruction to come back, but you didn't come back. So basically, a company has the right to take actions against their employee who refuse to come back. But maybe David has a different opinion on that.
Okay, wait,
Yeah.
before that, David. So
Yeah.
legally, Ilya is saying that company has the right to do that. But from the
Yes,
perspective of an employer, is it fair
as for the
for
employer.
David? Yeah, sorry, for the employee. What do you think, David?
Yeah, I will say that look, because the government has actually announced that look, majority of the sectors are allowed to operate. I will say it is fair for the company to actually give an instruction or reasonable order for you to actually report to work. Of course, what happened here is that when the employee refuses to come to work, there are two charges that you can charge on the employee. So first step you need to do is to actually issue a show cause letter to the employee on two grounds. So first ground is absent without leave, and second ground is on insubordination because I have ordered you or instruct you to come back and report to work. So based on this, of course, company have to actually look into it whether their explanation is reasonable or not. So if their explanation is reasonable, then you don't have to proceed with punishment. But if it's not acceptable by the company, then I would suggest you guys to proceed with the punishment. Okay. Uh, so yeah, that's how the process you should go about.
I see. So disciplinary proceeding still continues in this period as normal.
Yes, no doubt.
Okay, so what if one of my employee, he it's not he's refusing to come to work, but he's unable to come to work. He got contracted with this virus. As an employer, what do I do?
Right. So what happened here is that the first thing that you need to do, you need to send the employee for the test. Because number one, the employee might come and tell you, hey, look, I'm being contracted for this COVID-19. Not sure because you are showing symptoms and all that. So the first thing that you need to do is to actually send the employee to do the screening, right? So after that, what happens is that you can actually place the employee on quarantine. So this quarantine period, what happened is that it will be bear by the company because in terms of quarantine, in terms of the cost of quarantine, there are two things here. So if let's say the employee is contracted with COVID-19 test, the first one is that in terms of the cost, disinfecting the premises of the company, that will bear by the company. And also during the quarantine period where you place the employee on quarantine, that will also be bear by the company. What do I mean by that is that you have to place the employee on sick leave or hospitalization.
Can you put them on unpaid leave?
You can put them on unpaid leave provided they have exhausted their sick leave and hospitalization.
Okay, I think that makes a lot of sense. So let's say if my employee is contracted with COVID because he comes to work, and somehow his neighbor contracted the disease after he came back from work. Can the neighbor come after me? What do you think, Ilya? What's the legal obligation there?
I don't think that is I mean like for employer, their legal liability would only for their employees. I don't think where I mean for a neighbor to be contracted by my employee, I think it would be it goes down to personal how to call it a personal
Contract.
no, it's not. It's like it's personal responsibility. It goes
Mm,
I have my responsibilities to my employees, but at the same time, my employees have their own responsibility not to spread the virus to other people, especially to their families and neighbors. So I believe
yeah,
that uh, our for employers, the liability would only up to your employees.
I
That's my
see.
opinion on that.
So what if, as a company, I failed to follow the SOP? Like I did not do the sanitization, I did not do the screening, temperature. What's the liability against me then?
Of course, legal action can be taken against you. I mean, your license can be taken, one, or you even can be fined. because you have to bear in mind that the Minister of Health and also police are constantly monitoring and monitoring these SOPs. I mean, whether the companies are following these SOPs or not. So it's best for the employers and companies to follow the SOPs based on their relevant sectors.
I see. So I think it's very important to note to all the viewers that if you are operating or planning to operate, do follow the SOP to avoid
Yes.
getting all the liability and claims against you.
Yes.
All right, I think that's very clear on that part. Moving on. So far at this point, what are the best practices, David, that you can recommend to our viewers and even members on, like, let's say starting to operate tomorrow?
Okay.
What's the steps?
So the first thing that you need to remember is those who are part of our members. I have actually listed this thing called non-negotiable SOP. So those non-negotiable SOP here are like, for example, you need to do social distancing. You need to go with this face mask, hand sanitizer, and so on and so forth. These are the rules that you need to follow. Or even like according to your sectors, you are required to disinfect the premises two to three times a day. You see, so this must be followed. Yeah, definitely, it's a no. You cannot avoid that. You see, so yeah.
I
So
see.
if you fail to follow this, and let's say, for example, your employer actually contracted COVID-19, sadly to say, your company will be placed on this EMCO, enhanced MCO here.
So if my company is unable to provide those, I better consider not opening at all.
Yeah, I mean, if you can provide working from home, why not? You see? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think a lot of companies have adapted to working from home. Like,
Yes.
Ilya, I've heard the SP has made some arrangements during COVID and post-COVID. Can you just share with our viewers?
Okay, so for my firm currently, we are all working from home. After 2 months of almost 2 months of working from home, management realized that we can work from home, so it's not a compulsory for us to be there. But at the same time, because we do have files to attend in the office, we have alternate schedule. So for one day, there will be a limited number of people coming in, and then tomorrow will be a different people. So I won't say that the firm is closed, but I mean like closed without you cannot contact us, but we are still reachable even from home.
What about the courts? Are the courts open now?
As of today, for Industrial Court, they are still closed. They just issued a circular stating that they are closed until 9 of June. Whereas for civil matters, civil court, they are opening it tomorrow, but in stages. So
I
they
see.
also have their own SOPs that lawyers and judges have to follow, such as wearing masks all the time, body temperature taken, things like that.
I see the normal standard SOPs during this period. The new
Yes.
normal. All right. I would like to mention to our viewers, if you have any questions for our panelists today, kindly drop your questions in our comment section on our FB page, especially on this post, not in the previous post, so that we can highlight the questions and answer in a few minutes. Now, before I go on further, I would like to give another shout out to Elabram HR Solutions. Let me just bring this up. Now, Ilya mentioned about the new normal and adapting into post-COVID. I believe that our partner gives a really good solution to HR out there. The WMS is able to support staff to work from home and remotely, especially during this challenging time. So, to many of you want to clock in, clock out, but you don't know how to do it, what channel, what platform, this is the best app for you to use. So, they are on for free until 31st May. Kindly look them up at elabram.com, elabram.com. Right. I'm actually really excited about our partner here because in our company itself, we have adapted to using different apps and techs and devices just to keep up with the business. So I believe a lot of our viewers are in the same boat as well. So we'll share whatever HR solutions and whatever incentives that we have here in our next sessions as well. So right, David, before we move on to the FAQ, I need a clarification from you. You mentioned about phase 1, phase 2, and phase 3. So what exactly is phase 3? Has it been announced? And what is the expectation for phase 3?
Okay, in terms of for Penang, so what happened is that the phase 3 here is following according to the SOP that is announced by the government, by the federal government here. So at the first phase, which is where we call it as the disinfection period, where you go to your company to go and do the disinfection and all that until on the 8th of May. So 8th of May, you are allowed to operate. Only few sectors are allowed to operate. Of course, manufacturing previously, if you have allowed to operate, that's no problem. But like for example, retails and all that, you are allowed to operate. There are few sectors that are allowed to operate already. So moving to the third phase, on 13 onwards, that we will be following the federal government's SOP. But for food and beverage, unfortunately, we are still staying on that. There's no dine-in. It only allows you to have delivery and takeaway.
I see. So how does this affect tourism? I know our members, we have a lot of hoteliers. We have a lot of travel agencies as well. How does this affect them? Will there be any change with this new conditional movement order?
You see, hotels are also allowed to operate already now, but because of this COVID-19 has actually affected the industry quite tremendously. So sadly to say, a lot of hotels are not actually doing very, very well, despite the government has allowed hoteliers or hotels to actually operate, you see.
I see. I think that's good news when they can already start operating.
Yes.
We had a few questions on quarantines, but I believe that is the expertise of the ministry themselves. So we will try to answer your questions on quarantine as and when, and we will try to guide you maybe to the right websites where you can see the detail and outline of how to do it. But just to confirm, just to recap a little bit, Ilya and David has shared with our viewers, to all of you, the requirements and obligations of employers, the status quo of the current CMCO and the 4th May CMCO. We discussed further into the implication of CMCO in my previous session. So for the viewers who wants to understand it in depth, you can view it on our FB page. Ilya, David, let's start with the FAQs if you guys don't mind.
Sure.
Right. Just give me a second. Right. This is a question posted by Siu Yi 2. May I know if it is compulsory for employer to provide a letter to employee for them to return to work at the office? I believe, Ilya, you mentioned something about this earlier on. Do you mind clarifying it?
Oh, I think David actually mentioned about
sorry,
it.
David. Yeah.
But basically, it's not a compulsory. I think it's a best practice to have that. To have that letter.
I see. David, you mentioned something about MITI as well, right? One of the requirements.
Correct. So if you actually have submitted your declaration to MITI, one of the terms here or whatever is stated in the letter is that you need to provide a letter for the employee to and fro from work. So it's a compulsory for you to actually provide if you have actually submitted the declaration to MITI.
I see. So I believe everyone has to do that declaration as well. The aku janji, is it?
Yes, correct. Correct.
So to equate it, I think Siu Yi, you got your answer there. It's compulsory if you have already submitted the required aku janji. Okay, moving on to the next question. This is by Josephine Gui. May I know all unskilled and skilled foreign workers should go for the COVID-19 test? How about the skilled foreign workers?
Okay, interesting question.
Yeah, very interesting.
So, yeah, skilled workers, I believe you are referring to expatriates, or could be those skilled workers who are under blue collars. So, let me answer that. Generally, all foreign workers, including expats, you should go for the COVID-19 test.
I see. So let's say if the expat has been living in Malaysia for 5 years, is it still considered as one of the category for compulsory tests?
Yeah, I would say so.
Just to be safe. All right. Thank
Yes.
you very much. Next question. This is by Yvonne Lee. Hi, may I know whether staff will still need to apply for hospitalization leave during MCO period as he needs to carry out his chemotherapy treatment with medical sick leave cert provided by hospital. I believe chemotherapy are for cancer patients. So I think this is a normal SOP. What do you think, David?
For me, I would treat it as this is like a scenario, regardless whether is it during MCO or before MCO, after MCO, it is the same. Yes, the employee has to apply for hospitalization leave, provided that MC is considered hospitalization. So yes, the answer to that is yes, the staff still need to apply.
I see. Okay, just on this question, I got something in mind.
Hmm.
Ilya, let's say if the employee refuses to comply with the direction of the company, which is to apply for MC, to apply for unpaid leave, he just went MIA, right? So does that legally amount to breach of contract by the employee?
Yes, legally, it's a far-fetched, but it does consider as breaching the contract as because the employee is not there. I mean, like the agreement is to work. So if you are went missing, is considered as breaching the contract of employment. So action can be taken against the employee.
Okay, I see. I think all right. That's very clear. Thank you very much, Ilya. Next question I have from Robert Young. Hi, can the canteen in factory open up with buffet style serving with social distancing set up in place? Or is it still need to be packed food style? What do you think, Ilya?
Okay, I think if I'm not mistaken, according to the MITI SOPs, buffet. Buffet is not allowed. It's best to have to pack your food for the employees because basically the main thing is to do is to maintain the social distance. How would you maintain a social distance while taking food from a buffet line? That would be difficult. So I think the SOP, you are not supposed to provide food for your employees by buffet. You should pack them according to the SOP provided. And also, I would add on to that, for employees who have cafeterias in their premises, they should also practice social distancing, whereby tables are supposed to be 2 meter apart from each other, from other table. So, and also people staying or eating at that table should be limited. So this is
Mm,
the steps to take to combat this virus. We don't want it
mm.
to be affected by one person and continues to the whole company, right?
Okay, just to share, this is quite random. I recently saw this post on Twitter, a video where they did an experiment on
Oh
how
yeah.
one virus can travel and spread during a party. It's just a normal buffet
Yeah.
style eating party, and surprisingly, it shook me. It kind of gave me the goosebumps. So if people were to know how dangerous and how quick the virus can spread, I believe you will be more aware and more cautious with whatever operations they're planning to do. And
Yes.
again, like how Ilya is saying, has stated earlier, the MCO has not been lifted yet. Our country is not fully safe yet. So best practice is to still follow all the cautious guidelines and SOPs. All
Yes.
right. Um, Next question. This is from Cheng Kim. If the company sales very low, can we request employee to utilize their annual leave when there is no operation? Just to highlight, in my first session, I discussed about consent on cost-cutting measurements. Cheng, you can view my video on that. I discussed with one of our managing partner, which is Mr. Daman. So he explained further on this, especially on consent. But let's not go into that. Can I just ask David for this briefly? Can you help Cheng? Sorry.
Yeah, sure. So what happened here is that you can actually request the employee to utilize annual leave, provided you need to get consent from the employees. So consent, that's a must. Okay, you need to get the consent from the employee. So yeah, you can't go away with this, unfortunately.
See. So I think it's logical that if you have no operation, then it's not required for the employees to work. I think the more pressing question is it allowed for employees not to come to work, and can the employer decide those kind of matters? Like I said, you can all view our video in the first session on regarding consent. Right. Moving on to the next question. Gan Li Ching. Our expatriates is still working from home. In this case, are they still compulsory to take the test? What if they failed to do so? Kindly advise. I think there are two limbs to this question. One is whether expatriates working from home needs to go for testing, and secondly, what happens if they fail to do so? I open up to any of you to answer these two limbs.
Okay, I can go first.
Yeah.
Okay, before that, yes, as expatriate considered as foreign workers, but if you look at the announcement made by by Pekeso, they are focusing more on foreign workers who are working in constructions industry and also in the red zone area. So I won't say that, oh, you are working from home, you must go to for the screening. It won't be fair to force your employee just to go there and then go back home, because they are not even um, in contact with other people in the company. But the situation might change later on, where maybe after this they say yes, it's a compulsory regardless of where you are working, what industries, and so on. So I still from the what I can say is that this first stage of the PSPP, the saringan, they are more focused on those foreign workers who's working in constructions, manufacturing, and those in working in red zone area. Even our minister, Dato' Ismail Sabri, also mentioned that the focus is actually more on those working in KL and Selangor. But I don't see any like announcement on that. But other than that, that would be my take on this.
So what do you think, David? Do you agree on that?
Yeah, I actually agree on that. Even though it's made compulsory for foreign workers and also for expatriates, you see. But what happened here is that if the expatriate is actually working from home, you can actually, you must. What I would want to say is that don't rush it. You see, try not to rush it, because at the end of the day, you are trying to rush everyone to go and do the success screening. You're in a way you're actually have sort of have this crowded scenario which all of us are trying to avoid. You see, so what I would suggest is take step by step. Those that is compulsory, like those in foreign workers in construction and those in red zone, I would suggest them to go first, and then your expatriate that's working from home, that will be on a second phase or later on. You see,
As and when announced by Pekeso. Okay,
correct.
I think that's very clear. I hope Ms. Gan, you got your answer there. Moving on to the next question. This is from Esther. Esther. What if all SOP has been done and yet the employee get contacted with COVID-19? Should this still fall into employee responsibility? This is very good question. All precautionary steps are taken, but nonetheless, sadly, employees still contracted the virus. So what's the liability on the employer? Can I ask Ilya this?
This is an interesting question. So, I mean, the SOPs are given for to prevent. I mean, with this kind of virus, it's not possible for you to prevent everything. What I would say, but
Hmm.
I mean, okay. First of all, when your employee is contacted with COVID, what you have to do is to inform KKM. Okay, they will come and they have their own SOP, and they will do a thorough inspection and tracing all that. So I won't say it'll go straight to the responsibility of the employer if all the SOPs are followed. But the main thing here is that company or employer has the obligation to inform the KKM so that further action can be taken on this issue.
Okay, I think that was a great answer. Um, I think it's quite clear as well that if a company has done all that is necessary, it's quite unfair to say and still blame the employers. But nonetheless, we have avenues like how Ilya mentioned, KKM. They will come and help by all means. It's a duty, a higher responsibility for employer to inform and cooperate in those times. I think that's where the employer still has the liability and responsibility.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Um, okay. We have several other questions, but I believe that our time is quite limited for today. All right. For all the viewers out there, I'm very sorry if we can't have all the questions answered today. But nonetheless, if you have more of the questions and you want your questions to be answered promptly, kindly drop us an email, and you can feel free to sign up for our membership so that you can also receive our constant and active FAQs. So kindly drop your emails or company's email at admin@meca.com.my. So for those who have already registered for a 14-day trial, we have received an overwhelming number, and we are more than happy to accept you guys. We have received very positive responses from this free 14 days trial. So I really encourage all the viewers out there who need help in your HR and RR issues to sign up with us. Our next session will be on Thursday, 14th May, 3 to 4 p.m. We will discuss on domestic inquiry, or to be more catchy, digital inquiry. The reason why we say digital inquiry is because we are not allowed to be in a mass gathering or even a small gathering. So a DI itself is a gathering. So how do we deal with that? We can't outweigh uh, disciplinary issues. We can't put them aside, and we can't prolong anything that is due for disciplinary verdicts. So in our next session, I will be having Xiaomin, our legal consultant, and Miss Pava, our legal associate from DSP, to discuss with me on that. If you have questions pertaining to your company's DI in this period, feel free to drop us a comments into our FB page, or DM us, or even email us too. We'll be more than happy to accept and inquire and try our best to answer them in the next sessions. Right? Before we go, can I just briefly sum up our today's discussion? To the viewers, I think you got your understanding of where we are in the status quo of this extension. For the responsibilities of the employers, I think Ilya and David had shared very clearly regarding the SOP and guidelines, also about the PERCESO, PSPP. They have also shared with us best practices. I believe that is the million-dollar question we have nowadays. We may understand the law, but we don't know how to implement it. If you have more questions for David and Ilya, feel free to drop us the questions. Other than that, any last words before we end the sessions, Ilya, David?
Yeah. So let me just tell you guys that please stay at home as per the KFC. You see, jangan pergi ke sini, sana, and all that. Please practice social distancing as much as you can. It's very, very important because look, MCO has not ended yet. Of course, we will want to shout out to those frontliners for fighting for it. In fact, I have a brother who is in Singapore fighting for it. You see, pay tributes to them, and let's do our part here as a citizen of Malaysia that we should stay safe. Right?
All right,
I'll
great
pass it
shout
to
out.
Ilham.
Okay.
Ilham.
I know Raya is just around the corner. I
Sedih.
know everyone wants to go for Hari Raya, but I let's think of it like this. Maybe this Raya we cannot celebrate, but next Raya we can celebrate it. So I hope everyone will stay safe, follow the SOPs, and basically just take care of yourself so that you are taking care of people around you.
I have to agree with Ilya there. The next Raya will be a bam.
Different Raya,
Next Raya
yes.
will be amazing, man. So yeah, thank you very much, Ilya and David. Thank you very much to the viewers for for tuning
Welcome.
in. Until next time, we'll see each other again. Bye bye.
All right,
Bye.
bye.